What is your skin trying to tell you? Acne is not the problem, it is a symptom of a deeper imbalance happening. We're adding fuel to the fire with these elimination diets because they're restricting vital nutrients that we're already low in, already deficient in, need more of, and it's putting more stress on the body because it's missing those things. Hello, welcome back to another episode of She's in Sync, the podcast for women looking to have a safe and powerful transition off of birth control. I am going to be talking today about elimination diets, a pretty hot topic when it comes to hormone health in general. But today we're going to specifically be talking about elimination diets for acne because I see this a lot and I made this mistake in my own acne healing journey. Even though I knew better deep down that elimination diets weren't the fix for acne, I was desperate. So if you're someone who's struggling with acne, whether you were put on birth control to quote unquote help with your acne and you're thinking about coming off and you are like, well, maybe I just need to eat really, really clean and really healthy to prevent my acne from coming back. Or maybe you stop birth control and your acne is flaring really, really bad, and you are in the same space I was where you're trying all these diets, all these supplements, and maybe they work for a little bit of time, but they aren't consistently working to clear your skin. And if birth control isn't a part of your story, but you're struggling with chronic acne and you have been chasing diet after diet, eating super healthy and you continue to struggle, then this is the episode for you. We're going to be breaking it all down and talking about how elimination diets work and why they actually will backfire on you if you're someone struggling with acne. So before I dive in, one other thing I want to talk about is, and this is a friendly request to my listeners, my loyal listeners, if you are not subscribed to the show, whether it's on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify, please hit that little subscribe button to follow the show. It really helps the show reach more listeners and more viewers. And I got my stat report back from my podcast editor, and they said that over half of my listeners are not subscribed. So if you are a loyal listener, if you don't want to miss any episodes, please subscribe. And while you're at it, would so appreciate a review as well. Again, it really helps grow the show. It's not about a vanity thing for me. It's truly to help my podcast reach more women who need this information. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And for those of you who do subscribe and have left a review, have liked the show, thank you so much. Your support truly means the world. And I couldn't do what I do without your love and support. Okay. So let's dive into why elimination diets are something that a lot of women, turn to when it comes to acne. This is the biggest thing is that this is the first thing that conventional medicine jumps to, and even dermatologists, right? Like when someone is stopping birth control or when someone was put on birth control to help with their acne, we aren't doing the deeper digging of why is that acne happening in the first place. And when we think of food restriction, typically our diet gets blamed first of, are you a healthy eater? Is it like your blood sugar or your insulin? Is it dairy? Is it eggs? There's lots of foods that get blamed for skin reactions, whether it's acne, even eczema, psoriasis. And I will tell you from experience, it's not about the food. And most of the clients that I see with acne, myself included, are the healthiest eaters. We are doing all the things right, but we keep struggling with acne. And this holds a near and dear place in my heart because I also have a history of an eating disorder. I've worked with women with disordered eating and eating disorders for the better part of my career. And I see this as a very slippery slope for women struggling with acne in any hormonal imbalances because they get so wrapped up in this. There's a lot of fear mongering on social media of, we'll just eliminate this food and my acne cleared, or it's eggs that are causing it, just eliminate eggs. And this creates this fear around food, which makes acne worse because a big part of acne is a dysregulated nervous system and a body that is stressed out. But it also creates nutrient deficiencies, which is what we will dive in today, and a lot of fear around eating, which can manifest into an eating disorder, disordered eating, even if someone that's not their intention. If they even start a diet to clear their skin or in the hopes of clearing their skin, and there can be a switch that flips on in our brain when we are restricting, even if it starts innocently enough, that can lead to a full-blown eating disorder. So I work a lot with my women on legalizing all foods because 99% of the time, and I can say this with absolute certainty and confidence based on my clinical experience and personal experience, it's not about the food. It's about a lot more deeper things, but the food may exacerbate it, or it just might be masked in the shuffle when it's really not the food, but that's kind of the only thing we're focusing on because that's what we're told to focus on. So diet gets blamed first, and common elimination diets include dairy-free, sugar-free. I have a lot of women. I even met with a client this morning who was talking about how she feels like bananas because there's too much sugar in there make her break out. Well, it's not the bananas. It's that she was eating a banana by itself on an empty stomach, which can lead to a spike in blood sugar. And she's an example of someone who doesn't have the greatest foundations, and we're really working on nourishing her body. She's very depleted. She has insulin resistance. Her blood sugar is all over the place. So it's not the banana. It's the fact that she is eating the banana in isolation, which does cause a spike in glucose and a dramatic dip. So I'm working with her of how can we balance that by adding some protein and some fat, like some peanut butter, a hard-boiled egg, a handful of nuts, a cheese stick, because that's what's going to help prevent the acne. It's not the banana itself. We have to look at the bigger context. Other diets are gluten-free, which is something that I do assess with the comprehensive stool analysis that I do with clients in my VIP and some of the accelerator tracks of the birth control accelerator. Low FODMAP and just eating clean, right? So eating, free of all these things. Sometimes women will even eliminate like caffeine, alcohol, and my whole thing is everything in moderation. Do we want to consume alcohol all the time, right? Like, no, that's technically a poison for our body. But I want someone to be able to, if they enjoy drinking, if they enjoy having a social drink or trying cocktails or a glass of wine, to be able to do that. And we need to focus on their detoxification and their gut health. It's not the alcohol necessarily. The problem is it's not about the food. It's not a bad food. It's a deeper imbalance. So I want to dive into this a little bit more. With birth control specifically, first of all, birth control doesn't fix your acne. It hides it. And it secretly is making it worse in the background because of its impacts on your gut, your minerals, your detoxification organs like your liver, gallbladder, et cetera. So when women stop, that's why they tend to have those nasty rebound symptoms, including like full face acne, even if they didn't deal with that before. So while it's masking the symptoms, I want to dive into the nutrient depletions. Women with acne are statistically proven to have lower levels of vitamin A, vitamin C, and vitamin E. These are vitamins that birth control depletes, and they're antioxidants. So we need these. For example, vitamin A helps with skin turnover and hormone signaling. Vitamin C and E, they help with skin healing and that glow in our skin, and also the immune system response. Birth control also depletes zinc, selenium, and magnesium. All of these are important for skin health, for stress support, which is an indirect key player in acne as well. I focus on a lot of stress support with my women with acne because it's one of those non-sexy things, but it's so, so important. I always say if our nervous system is out of whack, we're building a house on shaky foundation. We can jump. We can. I don't do that. That's what makes me different is we're not going to jump ahead if we don't have these foundations in place because I want my clients to get long-term results. But some providers will jump to the fancy parasite killing protocols or the, laundry list of supplements. And yes, those things could help, but if our nervous system is out of whack, we're going to continue to burn through minerals really, really quickly. It's going to cause imbalances in our gut, which makes it easier to reinfect the gut with gut infections like parasites. And it's going to cause cortisol imbalances and hormone imbalances. So it's kind of like I'm trying to think of like an analogy, but it's it's kind of like you're continuously like the only analogy that's coming to my head is we went to, and I never do this. This was where you compromise in relationships, but we went to a buffet, a Chinese buffet last week, and it's like you're continuously eating off your plate until the point you're past full, but someone keeps like refilling your plate. So it's like you're just like backtracking and making yourself feel worse, if that makes sense. If you're continuously feeling like, well, I have to clear my plate, I have to clear my plate. It's the only analogy I can come up with. But that's the same thing with skin health. If you're constantly backtracking, if you're not getting to the root cause of something, then it's not going to give you lasting results. So if you don't restore these minerals and these vitamins, your skin doesn't have the raw materials it needs to make stomach acid, to digest and absorb nutrition from food. It doesn't have the raw materials to have healthy, balanced hormones. It doesn't have the raw materials to, put energy forth to healing your skin or to balancing your thyroid, to optimizing, liver and detoxification health. So we can't skip the fact that birth control depletes all of these vitamins and minerals. And just taking a prenatal or a multivitamin is not enough to fix that. It's not going to move the needle. I talk about this a lot. And I'm actually recording another podcast episode about this after I finish this one, about why just taking a multivitamin when you're wanting to stop birth control isn't enough. And especially with acne, we have to be really, really careful because certain vitamins can actually trigger acne more. So I actually very rarely recommend multivitamins to my clients who are more acne prone because of that. This is a big reason why elimination diets backfire, because if we are so depleted in vitamins and minerals that the skin needs to clear the acne, to improve digestion, to improve detoxification, all those things I just said, then we're just continuing to pile on to that. We're adding fuel to the fire with these elimination diets because they're restricting vital nutrients that we're already low in, already deficient in, need more of. And it's putting more stress on the body because it's missing those things. And so, for example, cutting out dairy removes vitamin A and calcium and all of these minerals and vitamins that are really, really important to the skin. And if there is no reason to do that, then we shouldn't do that. And this is where I don't just blindly say, cut this food. I will never do that. In fact, I'm talking more about why we need to incorporate more variety in diet, why we need to incorporate eggs back in, dairy back in, and how to do it in a way that feels comfortable for women, because that can be really scary, especially when they are in the midst of acne flares and they just want to do whatever they can in their mind to control that. But again, it's usually not the food. It's something deeper going on, like a mineral imbalance. So acne persists because the root cause, that depletion and that imbalance, isn't addressed. So that's point number one, is birth control depletes so many vitamins and minerals. And if we go on an elimination diet, that will deplete them even more, then your acne is not going to get better, no matter how much clean eating or elimination you try. The other thing here is antioxidant support. So like I said, research shows that women with acne-prone skin are lower in vitamins A, C, and E. And this is important for skin healing and inflammation. Gut health is another thing. If someone has acne, there's a huge gut skin connection. I talk about that a lot, and people are pretty aware of that nowadays. And this is another one where sometimes people will experience gas, bloating, constipation, diarrhea. That's actually very common in general, but Just because it's common doesn't make it normal. Remember that. Listen to some of the gut episodes if you want to learn more. But birth control disrupts the delicate microbiome. It encourages the growth of bad bacteria. It discourages the growth of good bacteria. It causes chronic inflammation, which includes the delicate gut lining. It causes intestinal permeability, which is where particles that are supposed to stay in the intestines get through the lining of the intestines and goes into the bloodstream, and that can cause inflammation, which can cause acne. And birth control exacerbates that and makes that worse. So I see a lot of women who have intestinal permeability in their gut and a dysbiosis in their gut, whether it's too little beneficial bacteria, too much bad bacteria, a combination of those things. And we have to, that's a big key player in the digestive issues versus it being a specific food. So if someone eats dairy and they break out or they have gas, bloating, I don't automatically say, oh, we'll eliminate dairy. We have to look at the gut and we have to look at the minerals to figure out, okay, is it the dairy? Most of the time it's not. It's going to be one of those things that I described before. And if we cut out the dairy, we're missing out on crucial vitamin A, calcium. That's going to be long-term supportive for skin, bones, mood, all that. And one thing we can't miss here is vitamins and minerals help with stress resiliency. With birth control, we are less stress resilient. There's tons of research on that. It's actually so fascinating, and it blows my mind that this is still not being talked about. I mean, I think all of this needs to be talked about with consequences of taking birth control so women can make informed decisions. But especially when it comes to mental health, as I say this, I'm actually not surprised because working in mental health before, it's kind of taboo still to talk about that. And we aren't, discussing that as openly as we should, especially when it comes to medications like birth control that do impact that. But I digress. Since birth control decreases our ability to handle and to cope with stress, there are certain vitamins and minerals that help that. And no surprise here, birth control depletes those things. So magnesium and calcium, for example, they're calming minerals. Magnesium is the first mineral depleted with stress. And, it's really hard to get enough through diet. And it's not enough just to take a random magnesium supplement. We have to look at the root. Why are you burning through magnesium? Why are you deficient in magnesium? Why is it so low on the HTMA? Or why is it so high, signaling you are like burning through it very, very quickly? Things like that, birth control depletes. And so that makes us even less stress resilient, combined with the fact that birth control does that innately, just in how it works. When we are stressed, that is a trigger for acne. That is a trigger for gut dysbiosis. That is a trigger for low minerals. That is a trigger for skin issues that has nothing to do with food, but it makes it seem like food could be, one of the things that could be going on. So what to do instead? How do you figure out, what is causing your acne? The first place I would start is vitamins and minerals. Could you do gut testing? Could you do additional blood labs? Yes. And I think for acne, that's so, so helpful. I do all of those tests in my comprehensive VIP program. And if you're looking for just some bite-sized, where do I start? If I want to do any one thing to safely transition off birth control without my face blowing up, I would recommend mineral testing. And this isn't going to be blood labs. Just the blood labs that your doc runs, they're not enough. They're not showing what's happening inside the cell. And certain minerals, for example, potassium, 90% of its action is in the cell. So if you're getting blood labs, it's not showing you the full capacity of and the full picture of certain vitamins and minerals. And it's also just showing that moment in time, which can easily shift depending on if you're fasted, if you're not, the time of day, how hydrated you are, what you ate the night before, what you ate that morning. There's lots of variability there versus I like to use a hair tissue mineral analysis. It shows a 3-month picture of your mineral status. It shows what's happening inside the cell. And it's also giving us really crucial information about how your adrenals are functioning, insight into gut health, insight into how your thyroid is functioning on a cellular level, any toxic metals that might be causing inflammation in your body, and other key insights into underlying inflammatory markers as well, all from a simple hair test. And I love it because you don't have to leave your house, which is super nice, unlike blood labs, and you don't have to get poked. You just take about a tablespoon of your hair and you send it off to the lab and get the report back, and you know all this information just from that. When you do the testing with the HTMA, it's not only going to be more helpful than standard blood labs, but it's also going to reveal, like I said, mineral reserves, stress load, detox capacity, and just early signs of possible hormone imbalances. And because minerals are so depleted by the body, this is the first step because they're so important for everything else. We can't jump straight to gut health. We can't jump to hormone health because minerals are step number one to healthy digestion, to healthy hormones, and healthy skin. So we have to do these things in order. And this will give you information of what foods you need to focus on more. What supplements should you spend your money on versus just blindly supplementing and having a cabinet full of these supplements that you think you should have that, again, might be hurting you. So I'm going to use my client Paige as an example. Paige and I worked together for about 8 months. She was a VIP client. And when she started working with me, she had done her research. I mean, I work with smart cookies. I work with go-getter women who are ready to stop birth control, ready to do all the things, and they're on board and want to take a holistic approach to proactively stop birth control to avoid hormonal chaos post-pill, IUD, patch, etc. So Paige had already done research, and she learned that birth control depletes a lot of vitamins and minerals, like we talked about. So she started taking a B complex and a zinc because that was, those are things that we know birth control depletes. B vitamins are one thing that can trigger acne. So right away, when I assessed her, even before we got labs back, I, told her, stop your B complex. Let's stop this. And she was taking a couple other supplements. I was like, let's just pause these, give your body a break, and we'll reconvene when lab work comes back. And right away, her skin started clearing just from stopping that B complex and some of those other vitamins. We got her blood labs back, and her B12 was over 2,000. Even conventional medicine flagged it as super, super high. So to me, that showed she didn't need that B complex. That wasn't right for her body, and that was actually making her acne worse. So this is where we have to be very, very, strategic, and we can't just blindly jump into supplementing. We want to make for sure you're getting what you pay for and that it's actually going to move the needle. After we got her test results back, I created her a custom protocol with specific foods to focus on. For example, she needed more sodium and potassium. She was really depleted in those things. And that was also impacting not only her skin, but her digestion and her energy as well. And specific supplements that she needed to help clear her skin. And she was able to clear her skin in about 4 months, safely transition out birth control without breakouts afterward. And she is now living her life super happy with her skin and her progress and off of hormonal birth control. But she wouldn't have known any of that if she didn't do the right testing, right? She would probably still be wasting money on random supplements and skincare products and facials and all that kind of stuff, maybe even cutting out foods, but she didn't have to do all that. All of her food, she never eliminated any food. She didn't need to. And she has a really liberal diet. And that was actually something I emphasized to her, is eating more to replenish minerals and vitamins that the pill depleted. And that helped her skin in the long run versus eliminating things and random supplements. So as a takeaway, acne is not caused by food most of the time. Can it be in rare cases? Sure. But most of the time, it's not caused by food. It's caused by nutrient deficiencies, poor detoxification, stress, and gut imbalances, to name just a few. And there's lots of other things it could be, but that's where the testing versus the guessing is so important to identify what your internal imbalances are. What is your skin trying to tell you? Acne is not the problem. It is a symptom of a deeper imbalance happening. So we need to figure out what that is for you. And I will tell you, most of the time it's multiple imbalances when it comes to acne. Elimination diets won't rebuild what birth control depleted and will make things worse. And it will also make your life worse and could trigger disordered eating, a bad relationship with food, and more stress, which can cause acne. So the solution is to be, get that personalized testing and that personalized plan to clear your acne and have sustained clear skin. This is where if you're listening to this and you're like, ooh, I have been doing elimination diets. It's not helping, but I don't know what else to do. I don't know what supplements to take. I have this like graveyard of supplements in my cabinet. I don't think any of them are doing anything, but I don't know what I should be taking. I just don't know where to start. Then I want to invite you to my birth control reset. This is my completely self-paced program where you get the hair tissue mineral analysis test sent directly to your home, and you take the hair sample, send it off to the lab. And when I get your results back, I send you a video review of explaining what everything means. So you have a clear picture of what's going on in your body. And then I also will create you a customized starter plan with specific foods and nutrients to focus on, targeted supplements based on your goals, whether it's clearing your skin or maybe you're scared of painful periods come back or a combination of things. And also, you'll get lifestyle tips and tricks too, because I'm all about holistic care, not just like a cookie cutter, you know, here are foods, here are supplements that everyone should take. It's very personalized and individualized based on your unique lab test results. And as I emphasized, this test shows so much information, right? Just from your hair, we can see valuable insight into your nervous system and your gut health. And that will also help me recommend if there's any additional testing that could be beneficial for you. So if this sounds like a good fit, the link is in the show notes below. Would love to have you inside that program and help get you started on your birth control breakup journey or your healing post birth control with your acne. To finish off, we'll talk about how I am nourishing myself. And I am nourishing myself recently by getting back into yoga. I was kind of in a phase where I was really into weightlifting, and I still like weightlifting, but I am definitely like a yoga girl at heart. There's nothing better. And I will say I love a good sweaty power vinyasa to some like rap music or some like hip hop R&B remix stuff. So more athletic yoga, but I just love like the combination of physical sweat, emotional breath work. It's really what my body thrives on. And I took a break because I was really craving more of the weightlifting type of workouts. But over the past week, I just have noticed myself gradually shifting back to I really want that yoga and that breath work, and I need that. So even yesterday, I had a really good yoga session, and it was so nice. I found myself getting a little bit stressed. I had a lot of work I did yesterday. I did 3 protocols for 3 different programs in my of clients and different programs in my business, and those take a lot of work. They take a lot of mental energy because I'm analyzing the labs and I'm looking at their forms and their assessments and piecing everything together and creating customized protocols, and then I'm recording videos. So 3 of those in one day is a lot. But I ended the day with yoga, and it just like reset me, refreshed me, and I feel so much better, especially as the weather gets colder here in Ohio. I think I'll be doing a lot more of the heated yoga classes. So that's how I am nourishing myself lately. As always, thank you so much for listening. Again, don't forget to subscribe and like the show. It means so much to me. And until next time, stay nourished.